Hey, what's going on, everybody? We got some new stuff coming out here in a couple of months. What you just saw was kind of the promo. It's the first iteration of what the intro to the Disney Deep Dive from DPI Podcast is going to be. And what it's going to be is a show where Peter and I randomly pick a resort, a ride, or a restaurant, and we just kind of throw out all of our knowledge, all of our tips, all of our tricks, all of our favorite meals, all of our favorite times to ride, all of our reasons that we like to stay at places, so that you guys have all the information that we can give you when it comes to planning your vacations. You know, a lot of you guys like to do it on your own, which is awesome. But we want to be able to give you as much information as possible so that you can make fantastic choices when it comes to your Disney vacations. And if you do want us to help, remember, we're always here for you, and booking through us and getting all of our expertise and all of our knowledge doesn't cost you anything more than it would to book through the Disney website. The only difference is that you pay Disney through us instead of paying directly on the site. So if you want our expertise and our opinions and our help in planning, reach out to us. We'll give you all the information multiple times throughout tonight's show, so definitely want to check that out. So Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel is going to join us tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the Not So Scary Party and what makes this year a little bit different than in years past, and why this year is selling out the way that it is. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other things from around the parks around the world. There's a lot of little things going on, things opening, things closing, that kind of stuff at a bunch of the different parks. So stick with us. This is the DPI Podcast, and this is DPI Live. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on? It's Matt with the DPI Podcast. Welcome to the second Tuesday in August. We've got a bunch to talk about. We're waiting for Peter with Princesses and the Mouse to jump on the Teams meeting over here. But until he does that, we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up with the show. So we've got some big things going on here in the next about month. And the biggest is we are going to be live at D23 the beginning of next month. So if you are a podcaster or if you are a vlogger and you're going to be at D23 and you want to meet up, say hi, have a drink together, definitely reach out over on Twitter at Disney Insights. Let us know you're going to be down there, and we'll try and meet up with you. We got a lot going on with the expo. We're doing some taping while we're down there, and we're hoping to have a special walkthrough of a location that we're trying to get set up with a local Indianapolis business owner. So we've been trying to communicate with them to see if we can get something set up, and we'll see what happens, you know. But we'd love to do that. Also coming up on the show, if you were here at the open, you saw the new, right now it's just kind of an idea of an intro for the Disney Deep Dive by the DPI Podcast, and that's going to be a really, really fun segment. We're going to tie it into our live shows with the top three and with the news, and really make our live shows a lot of fun, to where, you know, you can either, you know, take it in as one full show. Every Tuesday night we'll be live in some form or fashion, unless something happens. And then after Tuesday night, you'll be able to take it in a lot of different ways, whether it be through, the podcast where you can listen to the whole show, or you can listen to just the top 3 segment. The YouTube channel, you can watch the replay of the whole show, or you can just get the top 3, or the Disney Deep Dive section. So we've got a lot that we're going to be able to do with this new part of the podcast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a ton of fun doing it. When you think about how many rides and resorts and restaurants there are just in Disney World, it's going to give us a ton to talk about, and we're even going to have more than that when we start expanding to the other parks. So as soon as we can get Peter, there he goes, his quality's looking a little bit better there, up and running, I'll get him over here and we'll start talking some of the news. All right, I got the thumbs up, so let's see what we got going on. Mr. Salvadori, how you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Good to have you on the show. How was your time out in California?
Lots of fun. So I talked to you all on Tuesday as I was basically arriving. I went back to Disneyland and California Adventure on Sunday while I was out there, and that was a great time. Got a ton of footage. I recorded Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, got some footage around Web Slingers because I didn't think like the ride footage would really transfer very well. It would just be kind of like a blurry thing, and let's see. I walked around Galaxy's Edge a lot more. It was so freaky, Galaxy's Edge. When I talked to you all, I was about to go to Galaxy's Edge. And so I went in there, and freaky is the right word, because I was walking around Galaxy's Edge and I was like, this is like an emptied out Hollywood Studios. I'm in Hollywood Studios, right? No, I'm in Disneyland because I can't buy beer. So I must not be in Hollywood Studios. Even got a reservation at Oga's on Tuesday night, and it was straight up table by table, decoration by decoration, the exact same Oga's Cantina. The rides, carbon copies, the land, carbon copies outside of one pathway difference leading in and out of the Disneyland version. Went to the Trader Sam's Tiki Bar on. I did it all. So, did a ton of stuff. It was very interesting. The Little Mermaid ride is an exact replica. Well, I don't know which one came first, but they're exact replicas of each other. The Captain America, the Rogers, the musical was fantastic. I got a decent amount of footage of that. So, just ton of stuff. Lots to talk about with clients, lots to talk about on here. So all in all, really, really successful use of my spare time out in California. So.
There you go. What is your favorite ride out at land?
It's got to be Radiator Springs Racers. It's got to be. Yeah.
There you go.
Mission Breakout's cool and all that, but I feel like now Web Slingers that was pretty cool too. But at the end of the day, I get it. It's like Toy Story Mania. Just I go like this.
Yeah.
Instead of, I explained that on 2 weeks ago when I was on.
Yeah, but Web Slingers, we rode it over in Paris, and it is a lot more than Toy Story Midway Mania.
Yeah, because Toy Story Midway Mania, you're just kind of like competing at these mini games. You're like doing these fair arcade games basically, and Web Slingers has got a storyline, and you're trying to help Spider-Man, and you're more collaborating than competing.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, it's definitely like a way different ride. with just sort of the similar concept. They move you from screen to screen and you project things onto the screen in front of you. Yeah, but Radiator Springs Racers, I mean, Test Track is a good ride and all, but it is nothing compared to Radiator Springs Racers. It really is not. And just the immersion of Cars Land.
Yeah.
Let's back up and go even further. Like Cars Land compared to Toy Story Land, like Cars Land destroys it. You're straight up walking up the city of the town center of Radiator Springs. You've got Luigi's and Ramones and Flo's and the Cozy Cone, and it's just so cool because each of the cones are a different little quick service stand. You've got Fillmore's and Sarge's surplus, and there's just like a little drinks and like light snack stuff that you buy there, basically like a little convenience thing. Mater, like you have Mater's is sitting there, and it's a junkyard jamboree with a bunch of little tractors. It's basically Alien Swirling Saucer, but with a tractor pulling a wagon. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And then Radiator Springs Racers, you come around and you see the big waterfall, and when you come out, you race up and around the Willie's Butte, and it's such a neat ride, and it just puts this cap on this immersive land. I'm really struggling outside of Pandora. That's just about the only immersive thing that at World that kind of rivals the immersion of Cars Land.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, good insight there. Let's get into some news real quick. Really, there's one big thing and then a bunch of little things. So, got 15 minutes on the timer. So this is the news. So the big thing is, Not So Scary parties seem to be selling out a lot faster than they have in years past. As of this morning, there were 7 sold out already. At this time last year, with Revenge Travel and everything, there were only 3 sold out, and that we were 2 weeks away from having 7 sold out. What do you think is driving people going to the parties, even though that the park crowds really haven't been there?
Yeah, and I would be curious, there's no way to access this data unless you're, DeMauro or one of his execs. Like, I would be curious to know where the party ticket buyers are coming from, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the dates make a whole lot of sense that are sold out. First one around, so they make sense. But I would be really curious if they're locals that have bought the days out right now. I'm sure you have a spattering of hotel guests in there. Well, like you said, I'm going to come back to that thought. So I am curious how many is just like, locals who maybe don't even have annual passes. Maybe they just like going to, well, like if I lived in Florida and I didn't necessarily like going to Disney a bunch, I could still totally see buying the slightly discounted Florida resident version of the ticket if you have some other type of a discount.
Yeah.
And just going to the party and making it like a family outing. So I do kind of wonder that. Again, there's no way to possibly get that data unless you're one of the inner execs of Disney. The other thing is, I mean, you and I are talking about, like, the party prices just seem to be kind of out of control, but at the same point, like, what are we doing next month?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the party prices are out of control. Don't worry, I'm going to buy them because we get a $30 discount because I'm DVC, and we're only going to spend $120 per person. Like, yeah, it's like,
yeah,
you know.
Do you think possibly that they've cut the capacity for the parties? I wonder that only for the sake of, I talked about my wife and I going to the Epcot after hours, and I talked about how I saw them manipulate Rideline, and so I do wonder if the party
if there's less tickets available, to keep the thoroughfares a bit more empty, and that they will just manipulate ride lines. And you and I will be able to speak more thoroughly about that idea
Yeah.
in a month and a half
Yep.
when we get back from D23, because you and I will just as easily be able to see if they're fabricating wait times while we take on our not so scary party.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's really the big news. For me, it came down to, I was thinking about it a little bit today, kind of getting ready for the show, and it was like, the dates that are sold out are all the cheap dates. So basically every $109 date is sold out. When you figure a full Florida resident ticket on top of that or something like that, now you're looking at like an $89 ticket. That's not terrible to go to Magic Kingdom for 9 hours.
Yeah, and get the uniqueness, right? Like, because there are, like, Space Mountain is really, really cool. Like, I can't decide if I like the Halloween or the Christmas version more. But Space Mountain at the parties is always like, oh, this is way cooler at the party. And the special parades, the special shows, the special fireworks. I mean, the Christmas party, I think, is better than the Halloween party, because at the Christmas party, you've got 5-ish different snack stands and 5-ish different drink stands where you can go around and get various drinks. And I get the draw of the trick-or-treating, but I don't know. I almost like the after hours more, where I get free ice cream and sodas and popcorn more than the Halloween party where, oh, thanks for the scoop of candy. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a little bit of more news. So Disney made some changes to the dining reservation platform last week, and these changes were awesome. Yeah. So basically, before, when you went in to search for a dining reservation, you either had to pick lunch or you had to pick a time, and you would get like 3 times maybe around that time, and that's about all you get. Now you can go in and you can pick all day, and it will list all the available times that restaurant has for that day. So makes it really, really nice, especially on those harder to get reservations, because you can jump in, you can see what's available and try and click on one and get it relatively early. Now, I do see that causing a little bit of a logjam. Have you booked any trips since that you've had to deal with this?
No, but you can still choose the unique time and get kind of a slimmer margin. You have to actually go click on, like, the more times to get the whole expanded thing. And I'm still, like, it's awesome that the feature is there, because there have been many times where, like, I'll click lunch and stuff will come up and I'll be like, oh, God, yeah, you just showed me that stuff. I want to see closer to 1:30. Oh, look, there's a 1:30. So it is just nice to be able to kind of scroll through and grab specifically what you want. But at the same point, like, if you know what you're going for, I would still recommend, like, if you know, so for example, I always talk to clients, especially with kids in the, like, 6 to 10 range. I always say you want your sit-down meal between 1 and 2 p.m. Because A, it's getting into the hottest part of the day. B, if you're rope dropping, you've already been in the park 4 to 5 hours or more. And C, it's a lot of the time when, in especially the summer months, that quick little rain shower is going to come through sometime between 2 and 4. Yeah. And so if you're sitting down on a reservation, you can just slow play it and avoid a lot of the rain. And so most of the time when I'm going in, I'm just going straight to 1:30, clicking that button and seeing the 3 that pop up around it. And so, if you're a meticulous planner, great, keep doing what you were doing. But if you're more of a, well, I don't know if I want to eat lunch or dinner there, maybe I want breakfast, like something, for example, like Hollywood and Vine.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to click all day, because now I can look at my breakfast options, look at my lunch options, and decide, do I want Disney Junior or Minnie and Pals in seasonal attire? So for stuff like that, yeah, that's a really great benefit. I just appreciate that they're showing me more, because there have been plenty of times where I really want a 1:15, because then at 1 o'clock you can start going to the reservation. But I clicked 1 and it showed 12:45, 12:50, and 1. I'm like, but I want 1:15. And then I click 1:30 and it goes 1:25, 1:30, 1:45. I'm like, but I want 1:15. And I have to like fight to make 1:15 show up.
Yeah, it can be annoying. Overall, what I've seen from a lot of the people that I converse with on Twitter is a lot of positive things on this change. Seems like it's working really well, and it was something that really needed to be done. I've always thought that the getting dining reservations was more of a hassle than it needed to be. So this kind of puts a little bit more ease into it to schedule more to your times. So yeah, moving on, let's go over to Disneyland. Disneyland announced when their holiday schedule is going to run. It's going to start on November 10th of this year. It's going to run all the way through January 7th of 2024. World of Color Season of Light is returning, and the Haunted Mansion Holiday feature will return as well. So those are two of the big highlights. You know, Land does a really good job on like the cultural celebrations for the Christmas season, the Christmas holiday season. I think that they do it kind of akin to what Epcot does, but just a little bit more condensed setting.
Well, that's because they don't have an Epcot, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was funny as you were describing. I was like, "What the hell does Epcot do then?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but like you said, they do a really good job of like integrating it in park, because at World they basically celebrate Christmas everywhere. But don't worry, the World Showcase has got you.
Yeah.
Whereas Land does a lot more integration into various celebrations, for sure.
Yeah, a little bit of Disneyland Paris news. Mexico, here we come. Casa de Coco Restaurante Familia opened on July the 29th. Basically, they took one of their Mexican restaurants and transformed it into an homage to the movie Coco. Really cool, really bright. Lots of cool things there. So a lot of fun with that. Also, Disneyland Paris announced the ending dates for Dream and Shine Brighter and Disney Delight. They will end permanently on September 30th. So Dream and Shine Brighter is that really cool parade that kind of runs backwards down their main street with the dance party and everything. And then Disney Delight was the drone show that they would put up prior to the fireworks at their castle. So both of those are going to end on September 30th. Disney Dreams, the current fireworks show, will continue into October, but will be replaced by a holiday version as it moves into November. So there's your World Disney news. For the night, Disney Cruise Lines released pricing for their Wi-Fi packages on board. And these are just like... These are crazy. So you have a Stay Connected package, which is $16 per day if you purchase it for the full voyage, and $18 per day if you purchase it for 24 hours. The basic surf package is $24 per day with the voyage, $28 per day for 24 hours, and the premium surf package is $34 per day with the full voyage and $42 per day for 24 hours. So those are just, I mean, if you need internet on the ship, you have the ability to get on their Navigator app, which gives you just about everything that you need. And then when you get into port, you can actually connect to cell services in most of the ports, unless you're doing European or something like that, to where you'll need an international plan. But when we did our Caribbean plan, when we got into ports, even at the island, we had enough service to where if we needed to make a call, we could make a call. So, and texting back and forth and all that kind of stuff we were able to do. So it wasn't a huge deal. So there's that. Anything else going on? Oh, new menu items are coming to the Artist Palette at Saratoga Springs. They released a whole new like artisan menu for that restaurant, which is pretty cool. Some artisan pizzas, flatbreads, avocado toast, that kind of stuff. Really revamped menu. And then just the nuts and bolts of Not So Scary are starting to come out, like the character meet locations and the trick or treat locations. If you want to see those, they're all now on the app that you can go and check those out. So,
or wait until September 10th when we go live at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
exactly. Because we will probably have roamers, and we will have. I know that I'll be stationary for a while for parade and fireworks and stage show, and yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of things going on with the wives going down. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
yeah, we got 4 photographers.
I told Shannon, I said there are points where we could have 6 cameras going at the same time.
Yeah, pretty easily.
So
yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Anything else from the parks that you're seeing, travel-wise, anything like that?
We're going to spread out during the parade and the fireworks so that we get it from multiple angles, so that in one take we can do the full mock-up of from this angle, from this angle, from this angle. Right. Same with the parade. We're going to give you left side, right side, straight on.
Be able to watch it in VR.
Right. No, I haven't. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some clients getting going and all that stuff, and trying to get some of them down there. So I haven't done a whole lot of new stuff. Getting back to California, getting right into golf season. Golf match last night, golf practice today. Had to do kids' school shopping. Kids start school tomorrow. Yeah, just whole thing.
All right.
My wife wants to spend time with me.
I know. It's weird how those things that happens. All right.
We're going to Disney for 5 days. Just
all right. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the current show, not to be outdone by Disney Deep Dive here in about a month and a half. So it's top 3 time.
I think
business trip.
did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen is Peter from Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Yeah, it's you. No Chewbacca. Chewie's still... Uh-oh. He's within arm's reach. There he is. All right, DPI top 3. If you haven't been here before... we are going to pull a chip out of this bag. We've got a corresponding spreadsheet. We are going to give you our top 3 items for that number that's pulled. If you have been here before, thank you. Thanks for coming back. Obviously, we did something right, so hopefully you enjoy this show. And if you have your top 3, put it in the comments, put it in the chat, put it wherever. Let us know what your top 3 are for this category. So this week, we are going to be doing chip number... And hopefully it's not one we've done in the last couple of weeks, because I know that we've done that one. Because I haven't updated it in a while. Chip number 8.
I think you only actually have 4 poker chips in the bag.
You say that.
It was a joke. Look at this guy.
Jeez. All right, now I got to put them all back. All right.
We got number 8. We remember the number. Number 8.
Number 8. Number 8 is going to be...
I have a filling piece of paper.
Okay. Top 3 restaurants that you get the best bang for your buck. You've got 30 seconds.
Do you want to go to Disney? Contact me at Princess of the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you on your amazing itineraries.
All right, we're back. That was the wrong Halloween ad. It was the one that didn't have the call to action. So if you want to book with us, reach out to Peter over at Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel at PATM Disney Travel over on Facebook, or just type in Disney Travel Agent in Facebook and he's going to come up. So tonight's category is restaurants where you feel like you get the best bang for your buck. I know what my number one is, and you're probably going to steal it. So I'll let you go first.
All right, I'm going to go number 3, and I'm going to say San Angel Inn in Epcot. Over at San Angel Inn, for those of you unfamiliar, that is the one inside of the pyramid. And so first of all, beyond just being a fantastic atmosphere, which it is, because you're on the streets in a Mexican city late at night, you've got the very darkened ambiance. If you can get a table next to the water, you have the nice volcano and pyramid sitting there. You have the boats going by as they start Three Caballeros. All very wonderful, all very Blue Bayou-esque, I will also add, at Disneyland, because the Pirates of the Caribbean boats go by Blue Bayou. But we can talk about that on another show. But the really great thing about San Angel Inn is the portion sizes are ginormous, and they have the people that work there have that like characteristic, like, if you have never been, because I dated a Hispanic girl in high school, and I went to a family gathering, and the hospitality of that culture is so different than many others. And like all of the workers there being individuals who have come up from Mexico to work, just like most of the other countries around World Showcase, all of them have that like incredibly, it's like, it's, you know, seen in Coco, it's like the Mi Familia mindset of, you are here, you are family, you are one of us, we are generous, we are loving, we are caring of you. Some other cultures could learn a little bit from that, I will say. And so like the portion sizes are massive. And I remember one time my wife and I went there, and we were on our anniversary trip, and on top of our meals, they brought us an appetizer, they brought us free drinks, they brought us a dessert. They were just like, because we were celebrating our 10th anniversary, and they were just like gushing over the fact that it was our 10th anniversary, and oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And so like the people are amazing. They're so incredibly caring and warm. You feel like you're part of the family, and the portion sizes are huge for what you get for the amount of money that you spend. So that was very long and drawn out, and also brought in personal history along with cultural awareness. But San Angel Inn is a hidden gem where you get a lot of bang for your buck, in my opinion.
All right, I feel like this episode is gonna spend a lot of time in Epcot.
You might be right,
because
I do have another park. I'm gonna go to 2 other parks with my other 2 guys.
Okay, because I'm gonna start out in Epcot as well, and I'm gonna go with Tutto Italia. So Tutto Italia is the Italian restaurant that is back in the Italy Pavilion. And again, like Peter said, I think the star here is really the portion sizes, because it is very modestly priced pasta, but it is huge portion sizes. You know, the lasagna there is an enormous piece of lasagna. All the pasta dishes are enormous bowls of pasta. And to top it off, they've got some really good drinks there as well. So, you know, when you're talking about going out with, you know, you and your wife, or with another person, you know, you're going to easily spend under $100 and be able to do an appetizer, your meal, and maybe a couple of drinks, and still keep it under that $100 for a very, very good meal, and a meal that a lot of people don't know that's really there, because it's kind of hidden in kind of the left side of the Italy Pavilion. So my number 3 is Tutto Italia in the Italy Pavilion. So Let's go ahead and let's get to our number twos. And Peter, before we get into the number twos, let me tell everybody, why is my button not working? Where they can submit their top 3 categories, and you can go over to the webpage at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning, and you can give us your ideas for a top 3 category. If you don't want to put in all that effort, you can do it in the chat. You can do it over on Twitter. You can do it anywhere. Just let us know who you are and what you want us to give a top 3 of. So, Peter, what is your number 2 restaurant with the best bang for its buck?
So I think I was in between my number 2 because my number 1's kind of locked. My number 2, I'm going to actually go for breakfast, and I'm going to go to Trattoria El Forno.
Okay.
Right? Like, their portion sizes are so ridiculously good, and all of their menu items are, like, very reasonable, like $13 to $17 range.
Yeah.
And their portion sizes are fantastic. Even when it was a character meal, and if the character meal comes back and it jumps back up to around $30 to $40 a person, it is still worth it. Like, I would pay $40 a person just for the portion size that I receive. And Rapunzel and Ariel and Eric and Flynn are just like icing on the cake, because out there on the boardwalk, it's technically a boardwalk-in restaurant, but Trattoria El Forno, right now especially, because it is no longer the adventurer's breakfast, but even if it comes back, the food is still worth the money by far. But, like, for example, I get the breakfast pizza, which back when the adventurer's breakfast there was a breakfast calzone, and the breakfast pizza is just straight up that calzone, not rolled over. And so I just asked for the sauce, the dipping sauce that they used to give with the calzone. And that breakfast pizza is so good. And I think it's like $16 or $17 on the menu. And it is so full and so hearty. And oh my gosh, I mean, it just fills you up for your day. So I am going to go, while Matt deals with his technical difficulties apparently, I am going to go with Trattoria El Forno just to get a breakfast place on this menu. You want bang for your buck for breakfast, book a Trattoria El Forno. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and like,
you may have trouble traveling there, but you won't be disappointed once you get there.
Yeah, like I said, you were going to steal my number 1. Trattoria El Forno is my number 1 bang for your buck restaurant.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I could have
far and away
somewhere else.
Yeah, far and away my number 1 bang for your buck. But my number 2, I'll stick with breakfast, and I'm actually going to go over to a quick service restaurant. I'm going to go to Gaston's Tavern.
Oh, that is a good bang for your buck.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about a $6 cinnamon roll that it's as big as this Millennium Falcon.
It's like it's 2/3 of a head. Like,
yeah,
it's like yay big.
Yeah, our family, if we're just running into the park, our family can split 2 of them and be happy.
Be happy for hours.
Yeah. And if we really want to just sit there and enjoy, like, the Dapper Dans and the welcome show on the castle and all that kind of stuff, we'll each get one and we'll sit there for 45 minutes and enjoy it, and with our Starbucks, and have a great meal out of it. You know, once you get to other things on that menu, though, there aren't a lot of really good values, I don't feel like. But the cinnamon roll there is one of the best value items across the board at any restaurant, probably at any of the parks that we've ever been to. So, yeah. So my number 2 is going to be Gaston's Tavern, but specifically the cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern. So, all right. Let's get over to our number 1s. And Peter, before we get to our number 1s, where can people find you?
Well, Matt said it on the earlier part of the episode, but I know that we post these in parts. Just search Princess and the Mouse on Facebook, or even just type in Disney Travel Agent. I should be one of the top hits. You can also find me on the scrolling little ticker right there with our Wix site, where you can click on the ability to kind of like send me a form with some information. That form is wonderful because it lets you answer many of the questions that I'm going to start asking you if you Facebook message me, but Facebook Messenger is perfectly fine as well. I'm happy to start asking you the questions there. So would really love, 2024 is really getting going full swing. More and more people are contacting me. So right now is a great time to lock in your spring break, summer, or fall break plans. Even as late as Christmas of next year, I have booked a couple of those as well. So that is where you can find me.
There you go.
My number one. Drum roll. Chewy's very excited about my number one. I am going to go to Animal Kingdom for my number one, and I am going to say Yak and Yeti.
Okay.
Which is why it is so hard to get a reservation at this place. Now, technically, it is a separate group operating within Animal Kingdom. Disney does not technically own this restaurant, and that might be part of the reason why I feel like for the price you pay on the menu item and the high level of cuisine that you get and the large portion sizes that you get, it is phenomenal bang for your buck. I had not been in a couple of years, and I recently went when my wife and I were there in June. I was like, you know what? We're going to Animal Kingdom. I'm getting us a Yak and Yeti. And it blew me away again and made me remember why I loved it when I went before. And it made me question why I'm so dumb not to make sure that I get one every time I'm going to walk into Animal Kingdom. Like, it is so good, and the food is fantastic, and it has inspired dishes from around the world. You can get Asian cuisine, African cuisine, so much stuff. There is something to delight everybody at your table, and the prices are incredibly realistic. And I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm going to. Okay? I'm going to. If you go down to the bar at the front, so whether it is while you're waiting for your table or as kind of a nightcap after your dinner, go sit down at the bar, turn to the cast member when they come over and they say, hey, what can I get you? You say, well, I'm looking for a guide to take me to the mountain. And they will then give you a QR code to pull up a special off-menu list of items for cocktails and drinks that you cannot get unless you ask them that you are looking to be taken to the mountain. So there is this is why you watch DPI, baby, right there. For secret insider tips. My wife and I finished our meal. We went down there. I said, yeah, I'm looking for a Sherpa to take me to the mountain. And the guy goes, you're one of those. And then, like, he had like a little lanyard. He was like, boom, QR code. And so my wife and I ordered a couple of those. Very good cocktails. But you can't get them any other way. Like, otherwise you're just stuck to the menu unless you say that phrase. Like a little secret password.
There you go. There you go. So Yak and Yeti for your number one.
Yep.
I'm going back to Epcot. I'm going to a mainstay of my family's almost every trip. And interestingly enough, another restaurant that is not owned by Disney, but owned by an independent. And that is Tepanito.
I knew, you know what? You said that I was going to take your number one. I was like, your number one's Tepanito. What do you mean I'm going to take your number one?
No.
Were you going to do Tepanito too?
Tepanito would have been my number two if I could use Trattoria.
I'm not going to take your number one. You're going to bring up Tepanito. Guaranteed.
I had a backup plan. I knew how to go on it. You know, you come into this with 4 or 5. But Tepanito, hibachi restaurant, up in the second floor of the big Japanese building in the Japan Pavilion. Great restaurant. If you've ever been to a hibachi place, the portion sizes are amazing. You get noodles, you get vegetables, you get your protein. Very reasonable as well, you know, in that $20 to $30 range for your entrees. And then when you start getting into some of the higher ends, like the fillets, the ribeyes, the lobsters and that kind of stuff, it does get a little bit pricier once you get into that, but still a ton of food. Really, really good appetizer options as well. They have like a Wagyu pork rib that's really good. That's it just fall off the bone. Yeah, I know you're side-eyeing me.
Wagyu pork.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Those don't go together.
I know, but I think that's what it is actually.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna make me have to look it up here soon.
No, I'm gonna look it up while you keep talking.
There you go. But on top of the meal itself, you get a show because it is cooked right in front of you. It's one of those things that, you know, our family really enjoys it, so we have a lot of fun. Go, get the meal, watch the show. Good big meal, and then they have some dessert options. Usually we don't dessert there, but they do have a couple of really cool sponge cakes. So yeah, my number one is going to be Teppan Edo. You're looking at it like it's not there anymore.
Yeah, on entrees, they only got 3 things listed, and none of them are that. I'm trying to look down at enhancements.
They had the edamame.
Yeah.
What else do they
There's
have?
There's a assorted tempura, which is shrimp and a bunch of veggies, and then a miso soup is all they have listed on the menu now.
Yeah, this
makes me feel like we have to go to Teppan Edo next month.
Old Teppan Edo menu.
Yeah, I don't even see. But anyway, just to give a little bit of love, I'm going to do a bonus one because we hit every park. I don't know. What do you think, Matt? I think that the number one bang for your buck is probably at 50 prime time over in Hollywood Studios. I was in between that and Mama Melrose. What do you think about that? Like, Mama Melrose is like the obvious answer, but you also threw in Tutto Italia, and I think Tutto Italia's portion sizes are a wee bit bigger for very similar price points.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to throw another Italian, but I think 50's prime time is the best bang for your buck. Huge portion sizes, good home cooking. You're going to find fried chicken, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, corn, all sorts of good stuff. I think that would be my number one in Hollywood Studios, just so every park gets some love.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I love Brown Derby, but it's definitely not best bang for your buck.
No. You pay a premium for Brown Derby.
Right.
You pay. I mean, and you don't get really good portion sizes with Sci-Fi. You know.
Yeah, and Sci-Fi is like, ooh, I'm paying $26 for a burger and some fries.
Yeah.
It's the environment I'm paying for. Now they're good burgers; they're worth $25-26, but you're paying for like the cool uniqueness of the environment.
But when you think about, you could go to the Edison and get a better burger for $10 less too. I mean.
Well, hold on. We didn't even bring up Disney Springs. I was just trying to stick in and around the parks. Yeah, Disney Springs opens up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah.
We should
Waifu
make some
ribs.
Disney Springs specific categories.
Okay, so the Waifu ribs, they are sake, soy sauce, ginger braised pork ribs.
Waifu. There we go.
Waifu, not Wagyu.
Wait, they're not on there anymore.
They're not on there anymore.
What a shame.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Well,
I mean,
we figured it out.
when you start talking about Disney Springs, there are a lot of restaurants. Shannon actually brings up one in her list. Shannon's list, T-Rex at number 3, Trattoria Al Forno at number 2, without the characters, and then Grand Floridian Cafe at number 1. That's another place that I think it's a little hidden gem because it's relatively cheap for a really, really good setting and good food.
And what's great about Grand Floridian Cafe is you can grab it on the way to Magic Kingdom if you're not in a hurry to rope drop, because then you're just one stop away from Magic Kingdom, so it's not a big pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You know, we could even say, I mean, there's just so many. There's so many. You know, there are some that'll sticker shock for sure, but there are a lot where like, this is worth what I'm paying.
Yeah, I mean, if you get away from like the character buffets and the character, I mean, characters in general, if you get away from those meals, I would say other than like Akershus breakfast, I think Akershus breakfast is phenomenal.
I thought about bringing Akershus up in general, but yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the one that kind of sticks out when you think about the character meals. But, I mean, another one that we completely missed was Steakhouse 71.
I'm not a big steak fan. That was never going to make my list.
But for breakfast, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's decent. It's decent. And you can walk over from Contemporary. Yeah,
exactly. Sure. Exactly. So, no, there's a lot of them. And I think when you think about how much a lot of people spend on food at Disney, there are a lot of ways to save money and get yourself into prime positions to have successful days by utilizing some of these lesser known restaurants and not just going to Chef Mickey's or, to Cali Grill or to, I say Ohana, but Ohana's got a fantastic breakfast.
It does. And when the characters weren't there during the comeback from COVID, like, I went to Polynesian for a night when I did a quick little 2-day trip, and I went to Polynesian, and I was like shocked when the bill came because they were only charging like $20-something for their breakfast, and I'm like, this is the same breakfast without the characters. This is so underpriced for what I would be willing to pay for this.
So yeah, I mean,
$21 per person. And I'm like, y'all are stupid.
Yeah, and that again, that's what we're saying is there's so many places that you can really, if you look at the menus and you know that you're going to like something there and you kind of do some research, you can really extend your dollar there. Have a big breakfast, maybe a snack lunch, and then have either a quick service dinner or find yourself a nice restaurant for dinner, and you can really extend your meal budget throughout your trip. So yeah, that was a really good top 3. Glad that one came up. Again, if you're looking for us on social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter are going to be the best places to find us. DPI Podcast for the podcast, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. And then over on Twitter, it is, or X, or whatever you want to call it. I got to change my little logo now. At Disney Insights. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. If you guys do have any questions, want to reach out to us, you can do it in the chat, you can do it in any of the comments, or you can reach out directly on one of the social media accounts. You guys all have a wonderful evening, and we will talk to you again next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, we had Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel join us tonight. We talked about what's going on with the Not So Scary Party, and our top 3 was about restaurants for the best bang with your buck. Social media, you can find us a bunch of different places over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the podcast, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. Over on Twitter, you can find us at Disney Insights, and Instagram, we are at Princesses and the Mouse. You can find us also on YouTube, which you're watching now probably. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, liking, sharing, everything else that you do to support the channel. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday.